Hi, everybody, and welcome to Myer Media. I'm Jon Myer, and we're reporting live from AWS reInvent. This is the Las Vegas experience, and this is the first time we're actually going to do it live. We're going to give you some exclusive coverage on what's happening at reInvent. We're talking to a number of customers as well, partners. Everybody is recording not only here at the studio, but also to win. And before I get to more, how about we introduce, I want to say my guest, but he's also my co-host, Michael Levan. Michael, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, Michael, before we actually talk about reInvent a little bit more in depth, this is your first one.
This is my first reInvent. Yeah. I feel like my crowd is usually amongst like the KubeCon style events, but I wanted to give reInvent a shot, and I'm already seeing people. I'm already having great conversations. So yeah, it's definitely a beautiful conference, that's for sure.
Okay, what was your first impression for getting here at Las Vegas? It is the first time in Las Vegas,
This is
too,
my
right?
first time in Las Vegas.
Oh, man, you're getting double the hit. This is not a normal conference. This is the largest learning conference in the world, and I absolutely love it. I love it. I think they were number 8 or 9 on my list of actually coming. We've been recording. This is our 3rd annual one. What's your first impression?
I would say definitely a little bit overwhelming as a whole, but I think it's because it's my first time in Vegas, right? So it's like, first time I was in the airport, I had an issue like dropping off my bags this morning, then like getting to the hotel, and I was there a little bit early, so then I had to check in early, and then, so I think it was just a combination of things because I wasn't used to it. Like I know next year I'll come and it's not gonna feel as overwhelming. Yeah.
I usually put out a bunch of tips. I didn't do any tips this year. I just feel like everybody's kind of known what the go-to things are. Obviously, you know, wear some good shoes. We're doing this Sunday, and people are coming in today. More people will come in tomorrow. The sessions are kicking off. You can get your badge early. In fact, we're going to be heading downstairs shortly to go talk to a bunch of people. We already got our badges, so we're just going to hang out. But the other thing is, you know, schedule some time for food, obviously. You know, the biggest thing people don't really think about is chapstick here. The dry air. Just so much. I feel that people need it. Let's talk about some reInvent and some of the sessions that are happening. Are there any sessions that you're looking forward to, or any ones that you would like to recommend to some people?
Yeah, so I've been pretty focused on a couple of different areas. One, GPUs on Kubernetes, primarily NVIDIA, I would say. Anything LLM focused, you know, I think we've gone over the hype cycle of Gen AI, so now we're actually looking at it in terms of like, okay, what can we actually do with these things in production? So LLMs I'm definitely looking at. And then there are a couple of new features coming out with AKS. There's one called auto mode and hybrid mode, which is really cool. It has a AKS automatic feel to it, which essentially is like, and this is both, you're seeing Azure doing it, you're seeing AWS doing it, you're seeing GCP do it as well, where you pretty much create these Kubernetes clusters, but you hand it off to the cloud provider to make it per best practice. So it handles a little bit of the management for you. So I'm looking forward to those things, absolutely. I've also been working a lot with WASM or WebAssembly, both server-side and browser-based, but funny enough, I did not see any sessions at reInvent around WASM, which was interesting. So yeah, but I would say definitely anything around the GPU stuff, anything around the LLM stuff, I would say those are the primary focuses. Scalability seems to be a really big one right now too. So I'm seeing a lot of sessions around the idea of like implementing Carpenter and implementing overall cost optimization and resource optimization. Those things have always been important, but it seems like they are a little bit more popular right now.
One of the biggest thing that I love so much about reInvent is the community. The number of people that attend, in 2019 it was like max, it was like, I want to say high 60,000, right?
That's wild.
That's just the people registered. Then the people that actually show up for the event, I swear it's like 100,000. People come in, they meet, they greet. It is by far the #1 conference that I would recommend anybody to attend. So what happens tonight, it's Sunday, they got a couple of things happening. People register, kind of get involved in it. Registration is actually, you can do it at the airport. You can actually do it. There's a number of hotels, but here at the Venetian, they moved it over to a different area. Actually, it's huger. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you get your swag. So you walk down and you get your swag. They have either a pullover, a sweatshirt, something, because it's cool here in the desert. Then on Monday, they have sessions that are actually kicked off, but Monday evening, it's 4 to 7 is the opening reception. I hope to see everybody there. It's in the expo. They do a lot of cool things. It's like, I want to say the expo preview.
Yeah.
That's happening. Now, I want to tell people a little bit about what we're doing here at Vegas, but I also want to tease people on some of the things that we're going to be talking about. Michael and I have a huge announcement happening later in the show. It's really exclusively for you as builders, right? It's a builders only event. We're not going to spoil some of it. It's happening next year in March. But before we get to it, settle down, I want to tell everybody about some of our recordings that are happening. So Monday, Tuesday, we'll be here in the studio. And Wednesday, we're going over to our other studio. But we have more here happening at this one. It's over at the Wynn. Let me tell you about some of our participating partners. And then we'll get into a little bit more things. So we have CloudScale. We have Emma, which is actually really cool. We have CloudSmart. N2WS is recording as well. Kodiak will be here in the studio. Compass, UOL. Then also Strategic Blue, OmniStraight, Point 5, EPU services for AWS. They're on the list to record. And then over in the studio at the Wynn, we have OpenOps, Heroku. Yeah, we got them coming into the studio. Strategic Communications, we have Stacklet.io. Dino Cloud will be over as well. And then there's a cool recording, and you guys can watch this happen live from 1 to 2 over at the Wynn. It's at the SiriusXM. I'll be recording with Jeff Barr. So if anybody wants to come out, you can stand there and watch the recording. Michael, let's talk about a little bit of what you're looking forward to with the rest of the week here at reInvent. I know it's your first one. You're looking at the schedule. You're looking at the lineup that's happening. What is, if you could tell people, I know you recommended a session, but what is it that you're looking forward to the most here at this event?
I would say, honestly, a big thing for me with any event that I go to, whether it's a smaller one that's 100 people or something like this that's 100,000 people, talking to people, communication, getting that face-to-face stuff. I mean, the reality is you know, the sessions are, I think they go up on YouTube. Maybe they go up on YouTube. I don't know. I'm assuming so.
Yeah, they'll be posted later on YouTube
right.
in the series, but they take a while to get to. In most cases, they are recorded. There are some that aren't recorded, so you can only see them in person.
Right. So there's a lot of the sessions that you can take a look at later. What you can't do later is that face-to-face. You know, a lot of the time, especially with these big conferences, like I know with, again, the KubeCons and the SRE days and all these different conferences, I'm seeing people that I see once a year. So it's great to go out, grab a bite, see what everybody's working on, you know, get some collaboration going. I would say that's probably the biggest thing for me, honestly. And then aside from that, you know, I'm doing a couple sessions. I'm running an AI and an LLM workshop, which is really cool. So I'm excited for like the little pieces of work that I'll be doing while I'm here, but primarily just talking to people. That's always what I'm excited about when it comes to these conferences.
Well, talk to me a little bit more about the workshop that you're running. I'm actually very interested in it, and we can tell people where they can go to find more information. There's actually, it's still available that they can join, they can sign up. Yep. It'll be hosted here in the suite. We'll have some setup, we'll have some things that would be interactive, but you know, tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so going back to the whole like AI, large language model thing that I was talking about before, I wanted to create a workshop around something that people are interested in, which is, you know, the whole LLM thing right now. But I wanted to create it in a way that it wasn't just buzzy. You know, I'm constantly hearing the same thing, which is why we have an announcement coming up later. I'm constantly hearing this. All the sessions are very product buzzy focused, right? They're very markety. They're very like, here's the feature, you can do the thing, but that's it. A lot of the sessions and the workshops don't help people implement things in production. So I wanted to create this workshop to be able to show people, okay, yeah, you know, you have this LLM thing, and you know, yeah, you can use GPT-4 or whichever one you're using, but here's an actual production level use case, right? So we're going to be containerizing Ollama. We're going to be running Ollama in Kubernetes. It can run both in a managed service like AKS, EKS, whatever. It can run on Minikube, MicroK8s, whatever on your local machine. And then we're going to see it run. We're going to be able to access Ollama, and then you're going to be able to ask it questions and, you know, do the whole, you know, the chat-based bot thing. But you'll be able to do all of that within your machine. So you won't have to go out to, you know, ChatGPT or Gemini or Microsoft Bing AI or anything, because those are like, I would call them SaaS-based AI, right? Like they're hosted elsewhere. Whereas with this one, you'll actually be able to run models on your computer. And the models are fairly small. They're only like 2 gigs, which is interesting to say the least. But yeah, that's the gist of the workshop, and I'm really excited about it because I think what that can do is that will give people the ability to understand how to run models in a cluster, right? Whether it's on their machine, whether it's in the cloud, wherever it is, it's giving engineers the ability to learn how to run these models, because from a production perspective, whether you're in the DevOps space, platform, SRE, whatever you want to call yourself, more and more you're going to need to understand models. I'm talking about data models and machine learning models, and more importantly, how to run those models, where to run them, and how to train them. That's why the whole GPU thing is becoming super big right now. So this workshop will hopefully give everybody a little bit of a taste on how to actually run models.
Now we have to give a shout out to Kodiak, who is putting on this workshop. So many people have registered for it. They've signed up. It's something that they wanted to do, and they have Michael actually putting on the workshop. They've worked with him exclusively to like, listen, this is what we want to do for the community, right?
Yep, 100%. Yeah, definitely a big shout out to Kodiak. Awesome product, awesome company, awesome people running it, which is really cool. And they're all about the community. You know, that's why they've been a great partner for me. They've been a great partner for Myer Media. They're really, really about the community, and that's why they're hosting this workshop.
Michael, before I get to our special announcement that's going on, and we're here at reInvent, and you know, if you want to actually get onto this show, or if you're looking to put on some more of these, reach out to us. This is one of the cool things we do. It's, I want to say, unscripted. You know, we kind of have this conversation. We pull out the best information. I have to get your feeling for this. I know we're friends, and you know, definitely be honest why we're here on live. What is your feeling of this type of interaction? This type of, I'm going to say interview. Interview sounds so professional. What is your feeling in this type of conversation?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, for everybody watching this, we were literally sitting on the other side of the studio, and within 5 minutes we said, hey, let's go live and start talking about stuff like this is not scripted. We didn't plan this out. There's really
literally nothing.
Yeah,
on
I mean, yeah, I don't even know what John's looking at. But yeah, like we literally didn't plan this out. Like nothing. Like we said 5 minutes ago. We're like, oh yeah, let's go live and talk about a couple of different things. I like that level of format. Like there are certain times where you have to plan things, like with the workshop, right? Like I planned out, this is what I'm gonna do during the workshop. But with general conversation, I mean, I think this is what people enjoy. Like if I'm listening to a podcast, I can clearly tell if it's scripted or not. And that's a big turnoff for engineers, at least for that level of community. That's a turnoff, right? People just want like general good conversation to be able to listen to, and that's typically the best media in my opinion. So this is the perfect format for me personally.
Now, there are specific types of format that we actually love to do. In most cases, and I use a reference of like the NFL. I'm a huge fan. You know, go Birds. We just won, so I've got to give a shout out on that. That was really, it was a struggle to watch at certain points. But the first 10 plays are scripted. After that, you never know what's going to happen. Well, the first 3 questions might be. And then after that, I just go where the conversation goes and wherever it drives, because that's where I feel that I know you're passionate about, right? I can tell if it's something that you're not going on. Michael, before we wrap things up here at reInvent, I want to, you know, kind of talk about what we're going to be doing, right? I want to talk about, and we're looking at doing this in March. We haven't really, but I want you to do the announcement. I think you're going to explain it better because I'm just the guy behind it doing the media, but I understand what's going on.
It doesn't exist without you, but yeah, whatever you say.
So let's tell everybody about it, what we're doing, and we'd love for you to reach out with your feedback on it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the things that we talked about a lot, right, I'm constantly talking about this, is how to get better content into the community, right, from an engineering perspective. There's a lot of content out there, there's a lot of different things out there, but quantity never equals quality. So one of the things that really irritates me, and look, it irritates me, but I understand it, right? Because look, I own a business, you own a business, businesses own businesses, everybody's got to make money, right? There's got to be a paycheck that goes out. I get it. But what I dislike is when CFPs, call for papers, submission talks, get denied because a company paid for a spot for a paper, right? I don't think that it should be that way personally. I think that a session should get accepted based on how good the session is. what are the people
how
going to
good
be
the
learning?
content
How
is,
good
right?
the content is, exactly, yeah. Not even, you know, how good the speaker is. Like, this could be a first-time speaker.
Yep.
It should be, to your point, how good the content is. You should be able
And we're
to...
talking engineering type content, not actually like how good your PowerPoint is.
Exactly, yeah, 100%. Like, this should be stuff that when you leave, you're learning something. You know, this shouldn't be something that's always sponsored. This shouldn't be something that's always a paid slot. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you ask, a lot of the big conferences, they're pay to play, right? We all kind of know this behind the scenes. It is what it is. Again, everybody's got to make money. I'm not harping on it. I understand it. But what you and I spoke about and what I really wanted to create, and I know you really want to create it, is a conference for builders, a conference for engineers, a conference that no sponsored talks, no pay to play. Yes, there will be booths and stuff like that, and you can go up to the booths and talk to the folks afterwards, but none of the talks are going to be paid for. All the talks are going to go through a vigorous review process to pretty much see, okay, is this topic going to help people?
That's the review process, though. That's not your background. That's
Right.
not
Nothing.
how visible you are, your CMO, whatever you are in your area. The content itself, not your social media, and that you're, you know, have 100,000 followers.
Yep.
That's not what we're geared towards.
No.
Well, all right, I'm on the edge of my feet here. What is the name of this conference?
Yes, so it's going to be called BLDR Con.
Oh, dun-dun-dun.
BLDR Con. And then, I mean, we could also probably talk about this as well while we're live, so we're going to talk about. We're creating a kind of a media company out of this where it'll be, you know, the Builder Network, where you'll have BLDR Con, right? Maybe we'll put these on a couple times throughout the year. As you mentioned, March, April timeframe, we're looking probably Tampa-ish, give or take, Tampa, Florida. And then there'll be the media piece of it where you'll have the podcast portion and there'll be the live streams and stuff like this. And, you know, you'll be able to actually see it live, capture it live, look at the videos afterwards, all that good stuff. So it'll be a couple of different things in this Builder network. Jon and I we're working 7 days a week, but we've decided to start working 9 to 10. So this is going to be the next project.
So what Michael's really trying to say on this, and I absolutely love it. He was texting me about this problem. You know, he didn't like the keynotes were coming out and they're all paid thing, and I was like, you know what, we should do our own thing where it's and it literally came through within like 10 texts. Let's do it. This is what we're doing, and I can fully get behind it. I mean, look what we're doing here at reInvent and all the other conferences. This is our biggest one that we do. We do so many throughout the year, but we really promote this so that we work towards. This is going to be, and our vision that we're looking to do is, yes, you're going to come in. It's going to be small. They're not going to be huge ones, right? We're not going to, I mean, I'd love to have 100,000 one, but
not at the start.
But not at the, if it is, great. I mean, we'll be back here in Vegas for it. But really what it is that, you know, everybody's going to be watching the keynotes and the talks, but then over on the side is going to be sponsors, and those are all the paid stuff for it, and an overarching sponsor. But we're giving back to engineers in the community that are hands-on and want to learn more about this stuff, that are intrigued by it. Yes, there's a great time and place for the keynotes that happen through all the major events. We're not knocking any of those. We're geared towards a niche and a tight thing in the community. Now, Michael, before I wrap things up, because, oh yeah, by the way, this is happening next year and everything. What we're trying to do is really provide everything to it. We want to do it a couple of times this conference, he said, and you know, March, April, we might do it during the summer or even later. We're going to test it out. And it all depends upon how well you guys receive it. Before I completely wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to leave with the community? Because we got to get going. We actually got to get down to the expo floor. We got a lot of meet and greets happening.
Yeah, so one other thing I just want to say, to your point, it is not, the CFPs for this conference are not going to be based off of how many followers. I don't care how many followers you have. I don't care how many impressions you get on your views. I don't even really care if you have social media, to be honest. I mean, the only reason I'm looking at your LinkedIn is just so I can get an understanding of what you do for a living. It even goes down to the PowerPoint slides. Like, I'm going to have a max that 3 to 5 slides per talk. That's it. The rest of it, the rest of your session is going to be workshops, right? It's going to be you're actually hands-on doing something. And it doesn't have to be anything like super advanced, right? Super crazy. You could do the whole thing on Minikube or MicroK or Kind if you want to. It doesn't matter. But the point is that this whole conference should be people sitting there just like we're sitting here right now, and I want to be looking and learning something. maybe I even might want to pull my laptop out and follow along, right? Who knows? But yeah, this conference will be geared towards engineers that want to learn what they need to do in production.
All right, Michael, I got to thank you so much for this session. I really appreciate it. We got to get to it. So everybody, I'm going to wrap things up real quick. We are at the Las Vegas Experience at reInvent. This is our 3rd year doing it. Myer Media, I mean, this is a vision of mine. We've been testing this out completely, and I absolutely love it. We're going to be bigger and better next year, looking at being on the expo floor. If you're looking to create content, you're looking for thought leaderships, interviews, customer case studies, whatever you do, we've got a full media team behind us. Host, no host, doesn't matter. We have a lot of fun doing this. I'm looking forward to a lot of the reInvent sessions, the expo hall. I will be there a lot. You will not be able to miss me. We've got some cool things in store for you. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notify, and follow along, because guess what, folks? Do you got content? And we're out of here.